Classsification Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Welcome back to Agricultural Science class. My name is Mr. Samuel, and we are still considering agricultural science, and we are now under crop science. The first topic there is classification of crops. I know that you must know by now that crops are the selected plants that farmers cultivate on their farm for the purpose of fetching them money or food. Now, these crops are of different types. Now, I want to look at the way they are classified for the purpose of study. Now, crops are classified into three groups, and these are based on their uses. They are classified based on their life cycle, and they are classified based on their morphology. Crops are classified based on their uses, based on their life cycle, and based on their morphology. Morphology means their appearance, the forms and the shape of the crops. That's morphology. Now, classification of crops based on uses. We have quite several ways by which crops are classified according to their uses, but we shall be considering 10 of them. The first one is that some crops are classified as cereal crops. Cereal crops. Cereal crops, they are essentially grass crops. Crops that belong to the grass family Gramineae. They behave like grass. And they equally supply us with carbohydrates. They are grain crops, grain legumes, grain cereals. They provide us with carbohydrates. Examples of them are maize, rice, millet, oats, glucose, sorghum, barley, rye. These are examples of cereal. Now we move to pulses. Pulses are equally called grain legumes. They are grain crops, and they supply us with protein. Examples of them are the granite, which we also call the granite, the lima beans, the PGPs. Then we have the cowpea. All these are grain legumes or pulses. Now we have the root and tuber crops. Root and tuber crops are crops with underground storage. They store their food under the soil, so we call them root and tuber crops. Examples of them are the yam, cassava, potatoes, ginger. They give us carbohydrate. They provide us with carbohydrate. In fact, they are grouped to two. We call some root tuber, we call some stem tubers. The root, both of them give carbohydrate, but the stem tubers include yam and sweet potato, or yam and Irish potato. That's stem tuber. Meanwhile, the root tuber includes the cassava and sweet potato. Cassava and sweet potato. But put together, we call them roots and tuber crops. Then we have the vegetable crops. The vegetable crops are crops that give us vitamins and minerals. Examples of them are okra, garden egg, amaranth, spinach, vitalis, tardinum. But these vegetable crops can also be broken to two. We have what to call the leafy vegetable crops, and we have what to call the fruit vegetable crops. They are all vegetable crops, and most of them are annual crops. But they are broken to two. We have the leafy one, we have the fruit one. Example of the leaf vegetables are the vegetables that we eat the leaves. We eat the leaves, like water leaf, Tardinum triangulare, like the grain, Amaranth spinosus, like the spinach, like the bitter leaf. We eat the leaf. They are leafy vegetables. But we have some other ones we call fruit vegetables. Those are vegetable crops, but we eat the fruit. Examples are tomatoes, garden egg, okra. All these ones, we eat their fruit, but they are vegetable crops. From there, we move to fruit crops. Fruit crops are essentially crops that produce fruit. Most of them are tree crops, and they produce fruits that we eat, which give us vitamins and minerals. We eat most of them raw. Examples are oranges, bananas, pineapple, mango, pawpaw. We eat them raw, and they provide us with vitamins and minerals in our body. They are fruit crops. They are different from fruit vegetables. Fruit vegetables are like okra, garden egg, and tomatoes. But this one are fruit crops. So they are just oranges, banana, pineapple, mango, pawpaw. They give us vitamins and minerals. Then we have beverages crops. Beverages or beverage crops. Beverage or beverages or beverage crops. Beverage crops are crops that produce with food drinks when processed. When you get the fruits and you press them, you extract them, you can press them to get the fruit drinks. Examples include coffee, cocoa, and tea. These ones, when processed, will give us food drinks. Then we have the next one is called the spices. The spice crops are crops that are used to improve the taste and the fragrance of our food or of our soup and stew. They improve the aroma and the taste, the fragrance of the food we take. They are equally a source of vitamins and minerals to man. Examples include onion, pepper, ginger, garlic. Then we have the oil crops. The oil crops are crops that provide us with oil, either for domestic uses or for industrial purposes. This oil cannot be processed in different forms, maybe to make drinks, to make body creams, soap, and vegetable oil, etc. Examples include, you have oil palm, you have groundnut, you have melon, coconut, soybean, and cotton. All these crops can be pressed and processed and extract oil from for domestic or industrial uses. Number 9, you have what we call the fiber crops. Fiber crops. Fiber crops are crops that we use that product to make clothing or rope or bag. Fiber crops, they are very tough crops. They have tough products which can be used to make clothing or bags or ropes. Examples include cotton. Then you have sisal, you have hemp, you have kenaf, and hibiscus. I think again, examples of fiber crops include the cotton, the sisal, the hemp, the kenaf, and hibiscus. Last but not the least are the latex crops. Latex crops, these are the crops that produce whitish sticky liquid called latex. For the body of these crops, you extract whitish sticky liquid out, which we call latex. It's this latex that we use to make plastics, rubber, tires, tubes, and the rest. An example, the only example we have of such crop is rubber. Rubber, Hevia brasiliensis. Hevia brasiliensis. That's the only latex. That's the only example of latex crop. Now, those are the 10 types of crops classified according to their uses. I take it again. The cereals, the pulses or the legumes, the root and tubers, the vegetable crops, the fruit crops, the beverage crops, the spices, the oil crop, the fiber crops, and the last but not the least, the latex crops. Don't forget we said there are 3 ways to classify crops. The first one is according to uses, and that's what we just done. Now let's look at classification based on life cycle. Now when we talk about life cycle, we talk about the length of time the crops will stay on the farm, from the time of planting till the time it's harvested or is dead. That's life cycle. Based on life cycle, crops are classified into 3. You have the annual crops, biennial crops, and perennial crops. The annual crops are crops that complete the life cycle from planting, they grow to mature, all within 1 year. Annual crops are crops that grow and mature within a year. they complete the life cycle within a year. Examples include maize, rice, cowpea, cotton, groundnut, vegetable, etc. They are annual crops. Then number 2, we have called biennial crops. The word biennial means once in 2 years. That means biennial crops are crops that complete life cycle in 2 years, or crops that will grow and mature and harvested within 2 years. Examples of them include the pepper, the ginger, the cassava. Then we have the perennial crops. Perennial crops are crops that grow and mature and complete the life cycle in more than 2 years. Most of them are plantation crops. Most of them are tree crops. And these examples include cocoa, bananas, orange, mango, oil palm, etc. They are perennial crops. Those are the classification of crops based on their life cycle, which include annual, biennial, and perennial. The third one is classification of crops based on their morphology. The word morphology means the form and the shape of the crop. Now, based on morphology, we have 2 types of crops. We have to call the monocotyledonous plants and dicotyledonous plants. The word cotyledon means the seed leaf. Inside the seed, that's one that looks like leaf, that give the food to the seed during growth stage in the soil. This cotyledon can be 1 or 2 in the seed. When it is 1, it is called monocotyledonous plant. When it is 2, it is called dicotyledonous plant. So the first one, monocotyledonous plant, these are crops with only 1 seed leaves. They usually have fibrous roots. They have parallel venation and apogee germination. Now what the seed leaf is 1, the root is fibrous. That means has small roots from the same origin. Then we have parallel venation, the vein of the leaf runs parallel, straight line parallel. Then the apogee germination, the type of germination that brings the seed leaf, that retain the seed leaf into the soil. Examples include maize, rice, oil palm tree, sugarcane, etc. All these are monocot plants. Dicotyledonous plants are plants that have 2 seed leaves or 2 cotyledons, and they have taproot. They also have net venation and apogee germination. That means their veins are like net crossing. They are not parallel, they are not straight. And again, the germination is apogee, meaning that the seed coat will be brought out of the soil. Examples include orange, mango, cowpea, groundnut, etc.